Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we'll be learning how to draft this trendy bubu gown style that has a v-neck. Please do well to subscribe to my YouTube channel and also turn on your notification bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. So in this video, these are the materials I'll be working with. I'm working with 2 yards of Ankara and a half yard of crepe. You can actually use any other material in replace of this crepe. So let's get down to the video. The first thing I'll have to do is to fold my fabric into 2. I'll have to fold it into 2, as you can see. Fold it into 2, after which I'll have to fold it again, making it 4 in total. So basically the material is folded into 4. So after folding my material into 4, I'll be taking my measurement from the folded edge and not from the open edge. Now I will have to draw my starting line where I'll be taking all my measurements from. Now after that, I will have to impute my body measurement. Now the shoulder I'm working with is shoulder 16. I'll have to divide my shoulder into 2. 16 divided by 2 is 8 inches, which I'll mark over here, and I'll have to determine the length of my sleeve. Since I'm not actually going to attach a different sleeve, it's a cut together sleeve, I'm going to work with all the full material that I have because I don't have much material, so I'm working with everything. Now from the shoulder line that I've gotten, I'm going to take my neck width, which is 3 inches, and the depth, which is also 3 inches. This will be 7 for the front and the back piece. Now I'll just go ahead and create my neckline. Now the next thing I'll be doing, since I'm working with the whole fabric for both my sleeve, I'm going to determine how wide I want my sleeve area to be. So I'll be going down by 10 inches. If you're working for a bigger person, you can actually go down by more inches for more space, but for me, I'm going down by 10 inches. Now from the 10 inches I'm gone down for the arms, for the armhole, I'm going to come out by 2 inches, which I've marked earlier. And on the starting line, which is my shoulder line, by the end of the fabric, I'm going to come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Then from the 1 inch, I'm going to connect it back to my neckline. After I'm done with that, from my shoulder line, I'm going to measure down my hip line. The hip line length I'm working with is length 24. So from my shoulder line, I will mark length 24, as you see me doing. So it's actually on this hip line that I'll be inserting the measurement that I'll be using for both the bust and other measurements that we need. Now the next thing to do is to determine the length of the gown that I'm working with. So I'm working with length 40. From the shoulder line, I'm going to take down the length I'm working with. Just watch closely. So my fabric is up to 40 and is remaining 1 inch, so there's no need of cutting down any other allowances because I'll be folding with the rest of it. So I'm working with the whole fabric. Now after that, I'm going to divide the hip circumference I'm working with, which is hip 40, divided by 4 is 10. So from this starting line, I'm going to measure out 10 inches plus extra 4 inches for ease, since it's a bubu dress and not a fitted dress. So I'll be adding extra 4 inches for my client. Now you can add as many as you want depending on how wide you want it to be. Then from this armhole area that we used earlier, I'm simply just going to connect it down to the end of the fabric that I'm working with, as you see me doing. So I'm just going to cut out from the marked lines that I had earlier. I'll smoothen this edge for it to be equal. Now if yours is already equal, there's no need of smoothing the edge. So that is basically all for it. So I'm going to separate one piece from the material and the other piece will be serving for the back. So this piece is what we'll be using for our front dress. I'm going to go ahead and refold it back the way it was. Just make sure that it's equal to avoid you having excesses. So when I'm done, I'm going to come down from the shoulder line by 10 inches. Now you can choose to come down more or go up more depending on what you want. So for me, I'll be coming down by 10 inches. Then from this point, I'll be going in by 1 inch. So I'm just going to mark this here and connect it back to the shoulder line to get our front neckline. Just watch what I'm doing. I'm just going to place my ruler from this shoulder to this edge to get the V shape we saw in the photo below. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this off. Now this is what we have after cutting off the front neckline. As you can see, it's already giving us the V shape that we saw earlier. So I'm just going to go ahead and stitch my front piece and my back piece at the shoulder. I'm just going to place it the right side facing each other. I'm just going to stitch the shoulders together and we'll be back. So after joining the shoulders, I'm going to go ahead to measure the neck area from the front to the back to cut our band. So I'm just going to measure it all the way around. So I have 32 inches here. I'm going to go ahead and cut the band. Now I'm done cutting the band, and the next thing I'm going to do right now, the band is actually more than the neck width because it will be going inside the dress. So I had 32 inches, but my band is 37 inches, which is actually longer than what I need for my neck area. So I'm actually going to pin this down to my main fabric the neck area. So I'm just going to pin it down to the neck area this way, and I'm going to sew all round through the neck area with 1/2 inch. So basically, after sewing it all through the areas, I had excesses which I'm going to go ahead and cut off. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut out another fabric that is a block fabric that I'll be using for the shape I want. Now this is a block fabric that I cut out from the crepe material, which is 10" wide and 10" length. Now I'm just going to go ahead and iron in 1/2 inch. Now the 10" wide and 10" length is not basically constant. You can actually choose to make your own wider or lesser. So I'm just going to fold 1/2 inch all through this fabric and iron it for it to stay in place. Now if you can see from the video we had earlier, you would notice that there is actually a cutoff area in the shape. So basically I'm just going to go in by 3 inches by the side here. I would go in by 3 inches, 3 inches, and I'm going to cut it off to actually get that shape that we want. So I'm just going to cut this off by 3 inch. So as I'm folding each other area, I'm still going to fold in this way and iron it out so as to stay in place and for easy sewing. So after ironing the 1/2 inch in, this is what I am left with, as you can see. So I'm actually going to place it on my fabric, just on the front fabric. I opened up my fabric, leaving out the back, to place the pieces that I had earlier. So actually there is no particular way to place this shape. You can actually choose to do any style of your choice. So for me, actually I will be placing this on top. Now if you want the apple shape to be downwards, you can also go ahead and replace it. So for me, I'll just be doing this pattern. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to pin it down and go over to my sewing machine and make sure that I stitch it downwards to the fabric. Now you would like to pin this down so as to avoid any form of mistake or from it moving from the direction that you kept it. So I'm just going to use my pin to secure it. So after securing it with the pin, I'm just going to go ahead to my sewing machine and sew it all the way down to the edges of the fabric. After sewing this down to the fabric, I'm also going to go ahead and fold in the sleeve of this fabric. I'm just going to fold it in and sew it all the way through the end. So after sewing it down, this is basically what I had, and I also went ahead to stitch down the sleeve area, as you can see. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to turn it to the wrong side, and I'm going to go over to my sewing machine and use about 1/2 inch to join the sides. As you can see, I'll just go over to my sewing machine and use 1/2 inch to join the side and also to fold down the hem of the dress. So as you can see, I'm done folding the edge of the dress and also sewing in the sides. So I think that is all for this tutorial. So please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and also to turn on your notification bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. Thank you for watching and see you in our next video. Bye.